Ariel Helwani in Rio de Janeiro, getting set for UFC 134 alongside UFC CEO Lorenzo Fertitta. And Lorenzo, thank you for the time and welcome to Brazil. What is this like for you? We're at the media workouts here. I've been to MMA events with less people than this in attendance. What's this like for you?
Well, you know, it's really unbelievable, you know, how we've been embraced by this country, by this city. I made a stop yesterday in Amazonas to meet with the city of Manaus, and the overwhelming support that they want us to come there. They think they can fill a 100,000 seat stadium for an event. Jose Aldo is from that region of the country. It just feels like the entire country is just excited that we're here, so it's pretty cool.
There are a lot of fans who've been talking to us to say, why has it taken the UFC so long to come back here? The last event was in 1998. Do you have an answer for them?
Well, look, we had a lot to do in the United States and in Canada and in Europe and other parts of the world. And, you know, when you come into a country like this, you know, it took time to set up business development and make the right relationships and things like that. In addition to that, we've really only been on free-to-air TV here for about 2 years. We did our deal with Hedgehog TV 2 years ago. Before that, we were on a subscription channel that didn't have that many subscribers. But now we're kind of reaching the masses. The fight on Saturday night between Anderson and Yushin, we're expecting between 20-30 million people to watch it on free TV. So it's a big event.
Has that been sort of the business approach here, to try to get it on free TV? And if you didn't get it on free TV, then it wouldn't have been accepted this well, that first you need to sort of expose it to the masses and then go into the pay scale?
Exactly. It's no different than what we did in the United States. I mean, there was a direct correlation between us being on Spike, right, and having that kind of broad audience watching, learning about the UFC, getting to know who the fighters were. And that's a model that we're following really all over the world as we can. Brazil's a perfect example. Australia is another example. And now it's even more exciting because in the U.S. we're going to have Fox, which is even a bigger platform. So, yes, that's part of the strategy to grow the sport.
Do you have any kind of idea as to what kind of economic impact in terms of tourism and all that stuff that this event will have on the city of Rio?
We think it's going to be similar to Toronto. Toronto was about between $40 and $50 million economic impact. I mean, who knows? It may even be more. We've got a ton of people traveling from the U.S., from Europe, of course, from inside Brazil. The majority of the people that are coming to Rio are from Sao Paulo. So we're filling the hotel rooms, we're filling the restaurants. You can just kind of feel the buzz around town already, and it's only Wednesday.
It seemed to me, and correct me if I'm wrong, after the Vitor Belfort win for Anderson Silva, his stock in Brazil rose exponentially, maybe because of Vitor and how famous he is here, but he's gotten this Budweiser deal, a bunch of other deals. Would you agree with that? It's
unbelievable. He's had an absolute meteoric rise since that fight. It was like the entire country stopped to watch that fight. There were people billowing out of bars. There were obviously people in their homes. It did a huge rating. And it's almost like the country now has this hero that they're embracing at the same scale as a Ronaldo or some of the big soccer players. I mean, he's getting Nike, he's getting Burger King and massive sponsors. So, I mean, he even told me it's kind of surreal because he can't walk outside of his house. He literally can't go to the grocery store. He can't do anything. So his life has changed permanently since that February fight.
Dana said in July that he was surprised at how sort of uneducated the press was here about MMA. What's been your take with the way the press has covered this event?
Well, I think that's true. I think the broad mainstream media, no different than in the U.S. and some of these other countries, they don't really understand MMA that well, so it's taken them a little bit longer to embrace it. But as with anywhere else, the fans are behind it. So it's more of a groundswell. And now they're starting to see, hey, we got to get behind this thing because this is a big deal. They see what's happening here in Rio.
There's already been some talk that you are going to return to Brazil, and it's already sort of on the schedule next year. Is that true?
Yeah, we haven't laid the schedule out completely. We think we can come back here maybe 4 times next year. Maybe it's 2 big shows. Maybe it's a couple or 3 what we call fight night shows, really showcasing some of the younger Brazilian talent here. There's so many fighters from Brazil that, you know, we want to come down here, be permanent. We don't want to have a situation where we just come in and then we leave for 2 years. You know, we want to have an ongoing business here.
When you say 4 times in Brazil, I think I just heard the entire United Kingdom scream in anger. You're going to come here 4 times, and what about us? How do you sort of map that out?
You know, part of the issue is that we've struggled not with the popularity in the UK. I mean, we have a huge fan base. We do very well with selling tickets there, but we've had a hard time getting a television deal that makes sense for us. So, you know, we got to move our business around where it makes the most sense. And we're not in any way abandoning that. We're coming back to England, I think, in November. We're going to have multiple dates in Europe next year as well. So it's just trying to balance, you know, where supply and demand is.
Speaking of Anderson, there has been a rumor that's been circulating that if he wins on Saturday, he will be part of the main event for the Fox show. Is that true?
Look, it's way too early to be talking about that. He's got to fight Yushin Okami, see what happens. I can tell you that I don't know if it's going to be Anderson or not if he does win, but we're committed to putting on a big fight on that Fox show, and that's maybe one of a dozen different possibilities. So it's just really premature to guess at that now.
Any idea what the second fight will be on Fox? Co-main event, so to speak?
We're looking at 2 or 3 different matchups. It'll be also a great matchup. So
Ben Henderson, Clay Guida, that's been thrown around.
That's interesting. You know, that's not one of the fights we've been considering, but that's a fight I certainly would want to see. You know, we want to get out there and we want to showcase some of the younger guys as well. So that's definitely a possibility.
It will be, though, a major sort of main event, a pay-per-view worthy main event.
Like I said, Fox does big events. They do Super Bowl, World Series, Major League All-Star Game, big NASCAR events, and we want to follow in line with a big event as well.
And final question on that: where will the undercard fights air? Will those be maybe on Fuel or Facebook?
No, those will be on the internet.
Okay.
Those will be on the internet because you know, we can't put fights on cable until after the end of the year when our deal with Spike runs out. So we'll have to distribute those online.
All right, Lorenzo. Well, thank you for the time. Welcome to Brazil, and thanks for having us here. UFC 134, of course, goes down Saturday night live on pay-per-view in the United States from the HSBC Arena here in Rio de Janeiro. Thanks for the time.
You bet.